Tell us how that looks on agent count, virtual staff count, and in-house count staff.
So we have right now, as of today, I believe we're at 79 brokers. So we have those brokers are, completely all virtual, even though they're here, right?
Okay.
Whole brokerage is run virtually, so they never have to come to the office, not at all.
Okay.
Then we have 2 staff in office, which those are my right hand, and my virtual assistants are my left hand. The staff in office, mail. We have our in-house transaction coordinator here. We have just amazing people here in the office that I adore, that are just hard workers and they get stuff done. They communicate with the virtual staff as well. You've got to have synergy. No matter what type of office you have to have synergy between all the staff. So it's amazing because we talk via Facebook Messenger, Zoom, Signal, WhatsApp, you name it. We communicate all the time, and we're using different, ways to communicate, but we always have a consensus and we work together, even though we're all over the world. So.
Yeah, I like that. So can you tell me, before we get into your slides, unless it's there, what your right-hand person does for you that's in-house? Like, what is that, like your director of operations?
Yeah, pretty much. They do a little bit of everything, it's the catch-all. They're here in office because I'm actually not even in office, like 4 days out of the week. I'm only in office Wednesdays, which is today. So if it's answering phones, which, we can forward phones, that's not the biggest deal. But if someone needs to come in and do printing, if someone, has to film something, because we have a lot of filming done in our office, right? We've got the green screen and the lights and all that set up. So a lot of brokers come here to film. So coordinates, parties that are going to be happening, because now we can actually do that. So they really do everything. It's kind of the catch-all. So
I like that. Very good. All right. So let's get into your slides.
All right. Let me share my screen.
Cool.
Here we go. So building your virtual office. A lot of times I think people, this is just like a little bit about me for those of you who don't know me. I'm Lorraine Baldwin. I've got 22 years of experience in the real estate industry. I've owned 6 real estate brokerages. I've done deals all over the world.
Nice.
I've personally owned, this says 100, but it's closer to about 300 different properties, including multifamily, single family, a resort down in the Dominican Republic, commercial buildings, just, been really, I say I like to buy houses like some women like to buy shoes.
Wait, is that still the case?
It is. I absolutely love it. I'm like searching for the off-market deals right now, and it's hilarious because I'll be sitting there at 11:30 at night, just exhausted from the day, but then I'll find something and be like, ooh, I might need this. So I've coached and trained over 300 brokers, and I've worked in 4 states. So that's me quickly, right? I also am a mother of 5. So I have a 1-year-old up to next week. My oldest turned 17. So.
All right. Wow, that's a good range.
Yeah. I get the joy of baby and teenage. It's great.
Jeez.
So this is a little bit about my offices before. This is like a standard office.
Okay.
Because I've done 5 standard brokerages and now I'm in the virtual brokerage. I did a 25-75% split. I know people always like their face goes into shock when I say that. It was because we provided leads and they had no fees basically to the brokerage. That's why we took such a large split, because I was really pushed to make them produce that way.
Nice.
We did rent, computers, office, those are all expenses. I had 2 admins in the office. I had multiple mentors that would help day to day with brokers, because at that point we had about 150 brokers, so I couldn't train all of them fully myself. I ran the classes and did all of the training binders, all of that stuff, but I couldn't be the one to answer everyone's questions. I was the designated broker, and then I also had managing brokers. So that's a little bit about that. This kind of goes over the offline expenses for a non-virtual brokerage. So it kind of gives you, here you go. This is what you're looking at. And these were my actual expenses. So clearly those things can change.
Yeah.
Right. I understand rent in Malibu is not going to be $3,500 a month. Right.
Well, I mean, if I want like 200 square feet, yes.
Here's your square, Tristan. Stay there. So yeah, but this was my actual expenses. This brokerage was in Tacoma, Washington. And so that's what we had, right? I didn't want to make up numbers and say, okay, this is what we have. Now, 80% of businesses went online during the pandemic, and that's how we've been able to double our numbers here at Nexus. I took over as designated broker last June, and a lot of people were still paying their office fees. They were paying, for a pretty big amount of expenses for something they couldn't even go in and use.
Okay.
It also woke a lot of people up, made them realize, oh, wow, I don't need my office. Look at this. I'm able to work from home. I mean, I look at your setup that you've got, which I have loved watching you design. I feel like I'm kind of watching like a Chip and Joanna show with you in your office. I'm like, what's he gonna do next? Where's the Baby Yoda picture going? So Grogu.
I should update. I should do an update.
Yes, we're all waiting. So that's the thing, though. A lot of people realize, oh, I can take this corner of my house, or I'm going to take over this room and really make this a functional office. And that was due to being forced to do it. But people are realizing the benefit of having that there. And so that's really made a huge difference. It's not just the real estate industry that's seen this, it's companies across the board where they're really realizing they can save on rent if they have people working remotely. So that has been like I feel like our biggest kind of shove, push forward, saying, here, you can save all this money if you go to a virtual brokerage, because you're not paying for the office space, even though we do have office space. So I understand we're kind of like a hybrid model, because there are virtual brokerages that don't have office space whatsoever for brokers to come into. Yep. But we're kind of a hybrid model. That's how I like to look at it. We're like the Toyota Prius.
Oh, actually. I like the Toyota Prius.
I like the gas mileage. So yeah, I drive a giant SUV with all my kids. So I dream of having lower gas prices. So that was really the big thing, and the big push that we've had is not having to pay for the office space when you don't use one. So now we're going to get into the virtual company structure.
Okay.
And
will you be sharing these slides, or
I can send them.
Perfect. Well, we can have Sarah or the team send it over to everybody that registered.
Yeah, right, that'd be great.
Let's do that.
So here's the virtual company structure, right? You've got, hold on. I clicked the wrong button. I was trying to move the little bar so I could read it. Okay. So you've got the lead generation manager, who in our case is a VA. He manages all the lead generation remotely. We have a managing broker who came to us from Compass, and he's amazing because he steps in and fills in on questions from brokers. Just with the volume of brokers, we just had a forms change March 3rd. And so it's been an insane amount of questions.
Okay.
So having a managing broker, I think a lot of times people think just one designated broker or one managing broker is enough. And it's really not. Once you get over about 25 to 30 brokers, it's nice to have a second set of eyes and second person to answer questions. Then we have a virtual office manager who is a VA, right?
Ooh.
Then we have transaction coordinator, and we have a combination of those. We have transaction coordinators who are VAs, and then we have an in-house transaction coordinator as well.
I love this. I'm taking a picture of it right now.
Ooh, I feel so special. Tristan took a picture of it. We got a marketing manager who does the amazing job on our social media and putting together different presentations and things of that nature, like our listing presentation, updating that, buyers packets, just always keeping things up to date and fresh. And I love that when you have a virtual company, you are emailing out and sharing everything online. And so people will give suggestions, and it's always like a growing document. It's not sedentary. I really just feel like we are more fluid and we move at a faster speed than that print stuff.
That is so true. You know that? I agree with you, because we get to see these big companies that it just move. It's so freaking slow pace. It's like, can you guys move a little faster? Because our world in real estate moves so fast.
And you see it a lot where they're not keeping up with the times. I mean, we've got like TikTok videos out. We've got, all kinds of fun stuff, which, by the way, total side note, I love your TikTok. I follow you on there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, if you don't follow him on TikTok, you're missing out. I feel like that's where you're at your funniest, and you're kind of like a little less professional, but it's so great. I love your TikTok.
Thanks.
So I know, but that's the great thing, is that we don't have to go through 10 different layers of approval. It's, hey guys, let's put something together. What are we going to do for this week's video? What are we going to say? What topics do we want to cover? And we get it out. And then we also have our growth manager, who in our case is a VA and does the recruiting, making sure that we have all the correct documentation for each broker that we add, making sure they're added to all of our Facebook groups, that they know how to follow us on different social medias. All of that good stuff is handled by them.